I mean, one of the things I love about that process is by beginning with the individual people that we care about and want to create positive change for. I think that, we put marketing at the beginning of a process rather than the end of a process. And maybe one of the reasons why marketing can appear selfish is that it's left until too late. I remember one of my favorite comedians told the impromptu story of how he'd been discovered hanging off the end of a diving board in a swimming pool. And he said that he was trying to decide whether or not to dive and left the decision until too late in the process. And I think that marketers, when we're stuck on a question of how do we get the word out, we seem selfish because it's how do we get people to do the thing we want them to do. Whereas if we've actually begun with this process of change that you're talking about, then, we've identified our contribution in the first place.
Right.
I do want to get onto some of the ethical dilemmas. So, let me spot you that we've learned how to understand people with you, and we understand the people that we care about, but that doesn't necessarily put us on their side. So, for example, you can understand someone and feed an addiction. I could be a slot machine and give you a $2 payout in the hope that I'm going to extract $20 from you and leave you effectively impoverished by our experience together. So what can we embed in the process to make sure that the relationship we have with the people that we care about is an elevating one?
Yeah, this is, there's just so much pathos in this part of the conversation. In Mumbai, until 15 years ago, the entire city, a city as big as London or New York, had 11 ambulances. And so if you needed an ambulance, you were just going to die. And a company called 1298, funded by a nonprofit I work with called Acumen, has figured out a ratchetable, scalable system. So now there are hundreds and hundreds of ambulances in Mumbai, and you pay what you can afford. Also in Mumbai are millions and millions and millions of cars and many two-stroke engines that are killing people every day due to lung disease or running people over or whatever. So the question is, are cars good or bad? Well, on one hand, they make ambulances work. And on the other hand, they cause people to die because a careless driver. So what should we do about cars? Well, I would say the exact same rationale works for marketing. My friend Scott Harrison has raised $250 million for charity water, and that has ended up saving the lives of 20, 30, 40, 50 million people alive today because Scott is good at marketing. So I'm in favor of that. On the other hand, I was giving a talk 10 years ago, and some yutz in the back raises his hand and says, well, that's great, but how can I use my platform as head of marketing for some cigarette brand to sell more cigarettes? Like, I'm not even going to bother responding to your question because I don't care that you're getting paid to have a, quote, marketing job. You're murdering people. You're getting them addicted to something when they're young, and they're going to die because you did it, and you need to own that. And so I think that community action and standards are required. This is not going to be a self-regulating system. We have too much selfishness at hand for us to say, do whatever you want. And so in my country, the reason that we have the Food and Drug Administration is that marketers in the 1910s and 20s came out with, I'll give you a specific example, eyeshadow and mascara that made women go blind. And I don't know about you, but I'm not in favor of that. And as long as it was legal, people did it. And I just read on Slate Star Codex about a drug you can take that helps you lose 2 to 3 pounds a week for as long as you take it. Unfortunately, it will also give you cataracts. And unfortunately, if you take just a little too much, you will explode from the inside and die. So should that be against the law? Well, for the whole time, it wasn't against the law. People made millions of dollars marketing it. I'm not proud to share the same job title as those people. So I think community action and standards have to exist because the system can't take care of itself.